People always ask me what it's really like to lose 140 pounds on Carnivore. And honestly, the questions aren't simple. They're the hard, messy, specific ones that you don't hear answered in the usual eat meat, lose weight advice. So today I'm tackling 10 of the most common and most honest questions I get about losing weight on Carnivore. And if you watch until the end, I think they're really going to help you. Hi, if we're just meeting, my name's Claire, Carnivore Claire. I've lost 140 pounds on the Carnivore diet, and I've been eating meat and eggs basically since the beginning on 1 meal a day. So today I thought we would dive in to a Q&A to get to the nitty gritty of the problems that you guys are having in order to empower you and give you the knowledge to lose weight in the same way that I have. Just before we get into it, I've got an announcement. I have started memberships on my coffee account. This is to give something extra back to you guys that you don't get on this channel. So I will offer a weekly newsletter. It's going to be a behind the scenes. We'll talk about how Carnivore's been going for me week to week. Another perk in the membership is that I will do a monthly Q&A just like this one, but it will be targeted to the questions that you are specifically asking me. Also, if you join my membership, or even if you purchase a one-off coffee, then you are really supporting both me and the channel. I can't work through chronic illness, and this channel is my way of earning a little bit of money. All that said, let's get into these questions. So the first question is, why do I keep overeating even on Carnivore when I'm not actually hungry? That is a loaded question, to be honest with you, because there could be a multiple of reasons why. So if I keep feeling hungry on Carnivore, the first thing I'm going to assume is that I'm not in ketosis, because when you come out of ketosis, you will get food noise and you will get hunger signals. And ketosis is basically your body producing ketones, and that usually happens when your carbs are super low, because fat is what produces the ketones. If you consume too much protein, it can take you out of ketosis. Protein has a process by where it can create glucose in your body, and that's going to raise your insulin and bring you out of ketosis. So that would be my first port of call. Have I been eating any carbs? You know, even like herbs and spices and things like that. Make sure you're a clean carnivore first of all. If you're eating cheese or dairy, make sure the carbs are really low. You want under 15 to 20 grams per day. If you're doing that, it could be that you're having too much protein in relation to fat. So you could increase your fat but reduce your protein, and do that for a few days and see if that reduces your hunger. If you're doing all of that and you've still got hunger, I would look to other issues. Are you drinking enough? Are you dehydrated? That can cause hunger. Are you snacking too often? So you are raising your insulin. Even if you're only eating fat and protein, you can still raise your insulin if you're eating too often. If it's none of that, are you bored? Are you just sitting around and you need something to do, and so your mind goes to food because you want a dopamine hit? If not, maybe it is some emotional issues. If you're struggling emotionally, then perhaps you are turning to food as a coping mechanism and you'll need to do some inner work. So there are so many reasons why you could actually be causing the hunger in your body. But I find that even with all those other things, if I'm in ketosis, if I'm in strong ketosis and I'm doing OMAD, so I'm only eating 1 hour a day and then fasting for 23 hours, that reduces my food noise significantly and stops the hunger. How do I know if my stool is just fluctuation or if I need to change something? So on my channel, I recommend daily weigh-in because for myself, that's what worked. And I find when I'm weighing daily, if it's a loss, I'm all gung-ho to be really good that day. If it's a maintenance or an increase, then it really drives me on. But if you're being really, really good and you're seeing the scales go down and down for a while, and then suddenly they stop or they increase and you're still being good, it can be really, really frustrating. In order to know whether it's a natural fluctuation or you need to change something up, first of all, is it a one-off? So you're getting on the scales and you see a fluctuation one day, but the next day it goes down again. That is a natural fluctuation. Even if you fluctuate for a couple of days and then go back down, that can be a normal fluctuation. And in my case, I just wouldn't worry too much about that. If you are getting on the scales and you're not shifting any weight and it's going on for days and days and days, then I think that's when you need to have a look at what you're doing to see whether it's working. So the first thing I would recommend in that case is grab an app. So Carb Manager is a really good app for this. They have on their drop down, they have a section for carnivore eaters. So use that and log everything you're eating for just 2 days, and that will give you an idea of the amount of calories that you are consuming. You will know from dieting in the past how many calories you need in order to lose weight. So you can look at that and assess whether you're having too many calories or even too little calories, because too little calories can stall you as well. I'm going to assume that it's too many calories, and so in that case you'll want to reduce your calories by say 200 calories and then watch the scales for a few days and see if it shifts. If it then shifts, you're all good. And you can continue doing what you're doing until it stops working again, and then you can rejig it. If it is too little, then you want to increase it. Have a day where you eat 2,500 calories or something, some huge amount of calories, and you may actually see the scales drop after doing that, because your body was starved of nutrition and now it's absorbed it all. Really important that you know your own body and you're able to assess these matters for yourself. Play it by ear and don't only rely on the scales, rely on your measurements as well. If I eat clean carnivore but I don't lose weight, does that mean I'm doing it wrong? Not necessarily. So there's a couple of issues with this one. So clean carnivore does not equal weight loss. Clean carnivore equals good autoimmunity. Carnivore diet is in its first instance an autoimmune diet. It is an anti-inflammatory diet that will bring down any problems that you're having that are caused by you eating the SAD diet. It is not in its first instance a weight loss diet. Weight loss seems to be the side effect that comes with doing this kind of diet, mainly because it's an elimination diet and you're stripping what you're eating right back. You're also eating high fat, so you're satisfied, and you are eating low sugar. So that means that you are in ketosis and you are in fat burning mode. So the weight should technically come off. And when we join the carnivore community, we are told eat as much as you want and the weight will fall off. And then the weight doesn't fall off. And then they tell you, well, you've got to heal your body first. No. That is not something that I subscribe to at all. Losing weight is healing your body. Obesity causes inflammation, which causes all sorts of other problems. So if you bring your weight down, you bring your inflammation down and you heal your body. So healing your body and losing weight are not mutually exclusive. They happen together. We start eating eggs and meat only and we think we're being really good, and then we're getting frustrated because the scales are not shifting. And that's because you're not addressing the volume of food that you're eating. You were on the SAD diet, eating lots and lots and lots when you wanted to a binge eating situation, and you've come to carnivore and done the exact same thing. So what happens is you're having a good amount of calories, too many for your body, and that is stalling your weight loss. How can I tell if I'm genuinely fat adapted or if I'm still running on willpower? Well, you've come to the carnivore diet because you can't run on willpower, haven't you? You've tried every other diet out there that all determine weight loss by willpower, and none of it works. So if you've come to carnivore, first of all, you're probably not running on willpower alone. You will be fat adapted, and that can take up to a couple of weeks. The first thing you're going to notice if you're not fat adapted is that you've got food noise. So you have intrusive thoughts. They are occupying your every waking moment. You are preoccupied with food. You think you're hungry all the time, and therefore you're eating more. If you are doing that, then there's a good chance you're not yet fat adapted. You could be getting headaches, feeling lightheaded, nauseous, dizzy, those kinds of things, and they would suggest that you're not yet fat adapted. If you're low in energy, this is a big one. It's a really big one, because if you're low in energy, that means you stopped eating glucose, you were running on a glucose fuel system, and you stopped consuming glucose. So your energy drops. So what you have to do is fill it up with fat, and fat gives you that energy. It will run off of that fat. So if you're fatigued, then the chances are you've reduced your glucose, but you haven't increased your fat enough to give you the energy. Fat adapted does take a little while. You have to be patient with it, but it will happen, and you'll know when it happens, because everything just becomes so much easier and the whole diet becomes very manageable. What should I do if my family keeps pushing food on me and I end up caving? Carnivore diet is an extreme elimination diet, and most people, like in the general public, don't agree with it. So when you become a carnivore and you tell your family, they're not going to be on board. They're just not. And so what they will do is try to tempt you with food. Food is often an expression of love. So when you go round to your family for dinner, the person cooking the dinner is expressing their love and giving you that dinner. And if you are not receiving that dinner, it can be like a rejection to them. So it can be a very delicate business when you're within a family system and you have to eat food, but you want to be carnivore, but you don't want to upset people. And so what happens is we go for these meals, don't we? And we end up just eating what they've put on the table, just to be polite, to be kind, to not reject their food that they're offering. But what happens is then we're ruining our carnivore diet. So what you're doing is you're putting other people first before yourself. You are abandoning yourself in order to keep others happy. And that's something you need to look at inside about why you're doing that, what purpose it serves you. Because whenever we do anything, it's because it serves a purpose for us. Ask ourselves, is it really serving a purpose, or is it causing more problems than it's solving? And the answer is yes, by the way. So when that happens, you need to really assess, can you go to family and be a carnivore? If they're not supportive of your carnivore journey, and you want to be, maybe you need to reassess whether you eat with those people or whether you eat alone. You have to take control. So even if you are there you need to be the one to say, I'm not eating that. I'll bring my own food. I will eat what I'm eating. If they can't respect you, then that is a whole other ball game altogether. For myself, I will take my own food. I've been known to take a steak and boiled eggs with me so that I can eat what I eat. How do I stop boredom or loneliness from turning into constant snacking? Well, that is the $1 million question, is it not? Is it not? We're all guilty of it, aren't we? I've been guilty of it myself, but it always brings repercussions, always. So boredom and loneliness are two separate issues here. So if it's boredom, then you want to try and fill your time. So for me, it can be really difficult because I'm fatigued and I need a lot of rest because I have ME. Resting, my brain's still active, but my body is resting, and then my brain goes to food, and I can't pick up activities and I can't do other things apart from maybe scroll on my phone. But it is about diverting my attention away from food, doing something that really stimulates my brain. I did a video a little while ago where I gave you a little challenge to do, which was about getting up, changing your environment, going for a walk, having a drink, doing all these things to push that hunger away and those thoughts away. For loneliness, that can be a more difficult one. I suffer with loneliness as well. Loneliness normally comes when you haven't got other people around you, or you have people around you, they're not emotionally engaged with you. So it can feel like you're on your own even when other people are there. If that's the case, you want to address your relationships. I had that with my last relationship and it did need addressing. So if you address that, that kind of loneliness will go away. But if it's the kind of loneliness where you are on your own, then maybe it is about trying to meet other people, spending time, getting out. Even sometimes I just like go for a walk to the shop just to be around people to relieve that boredom. And while I'm doing that activity, I'm not actually thinking about food, am I? I'm thinking about going to the shop. It might be about meeting up with other people, looking in your local community to see what things there are that you could do. Your hobbies, if you're into sewing like I used to be, then you might want to join a sewing group. Or it might be an online group where you talk to other people, which, by the way, nice segue, but I have a Facebook group. And at the moment, I am running an A to Z series, like a mini series, where every day I am talking about a different topic within Carnivore. So come over to my group and sign up because I would love to have you there. I would love to hear your experiences, what you're going through, your problems and your successes. If you're eating out of loneliness, you're actually eating out of sadness. And that is something to think about. Sadness can be relieved with exercise. If you're able to exercise, you can maybe go for a walk in the sunshine. And that, even if you don't see other people, will be really beneficial. What's the difference between food noise and real hunger, and how can I recognize it myself? Oh, real hunger is quiet and calm and builds slowly. Food noise hunger or appetite is instant, it's in your face, it wants to be fed right now. The main thing to think about is that hunger is not an emergency. If you start to feel yourself hungry, but you're panicking, then there's something else going on. If you're hungry and it's like, you'd like to eat now, but you can take or leave it for a while, then possibly that is not an issue. of food noise. Also, food noise is a really obvious thing. It's intrusive thoughts. Your every waking moment is thinking about food. And so in those moments, you'll be like, I've just eaten 3 ribeyes and I'm still hungry. What's going on? You're not hungry, are you? If you've eaten anything that is remotely satisfying, then you're not hungry. The A in my A to Z challenge talks about this specifically. So if you want more information on that, do head over to my group and have a read of that post. So how can you recognize it yourself? Well, I would say in the first instance, ask yourself when you last ate. If you last ate quite recently, then you're not hungry, are you? If it was a long time ago, then possibly you are. Ask yourself, have you had a drink? Are you dehydrated? Are you bored? Are you lonely, as we just spoke about? Is there an emotional issue? If it's none of that and you feel that you might genuinely be hungry, then have a couple of bites and see if that satisfies you. If that satisfies you, it probably was hunger. And if you just want to keep eating and eating and eating, then that's not. So a real hunger signal for me starts in my solar plexus, just about there. And then I can feel it in my blood as well. My blood feels, it's probably low blood sugar, but I can feel the actual, I don't know, the hunger in my blood. I'm weird, don't worry about me. But that is real hunger. And I also know, because I haven't eaten for an extended period of time, when I'm bored, I'm laying there thinking, what can I do? What can I do? Oh, food. Oh, what food have I got in? Oh, maybe I should eat some eggs. Oh, but I only ate eggs like 20 minutes ago. No, I shouldn't eat eggs. I really want eggs. No, I won't, because it's too many calories. Oh, no, but you do need to eat eggs because, like, you're really hungry, really hungry. If the scale goes up after a carnivore binge, how do I reset without spiraling? So it depends what you mean by a binge and whether it's really a carnivore binge. Because often when we have a carnivore binge, we're actually binging on non-carnivore food. So it might be dairy, it might be fruit, it might be honey, it might be nuts, it might be other keto foods that are not technically carnivore. Especially if you have any kind of water foods like fruit, then you are going to see an increase in the scales on the next day. But even if you're sticking to carnivore, but maybe you've had too much bacon or you've had too many ribeyes, then you might see the scales go up, especially if you have been reducing your calories and then you suddenly eat more. And when you see that number on the scale, it can send you into a spiral, and you think at first you're like, no, I'm strong, I've got this, I'm going to be good today, and then the scales will go down. But by midday you're like, I've got to eat. And what's going on there is your insulin has been raised when you had your binge, and then you're trying to bring it back down, but because it's coming down, your body is giving you those hunger signals to go back up again. And that's what's causing you to spiral, because your thought process is trying to justify having another binge, and your gut is telling your brain, convince her that she needs to eat right now. So your brain says, right, we're going to spiral. You binged yesterday. You should feel bad about yourself. You can't be a success on carnivore. You should give up now. Just eat what you want. And then you go into your spiral, and then you're eating and eating and eating, and the problem gets worse and worse. I went through this last week myself. How you avoid that happening is, first of all, don't binge, because you need to be able to eat sensibly on the carnivore diet, especially if you want to lose weight. You need to be able to eat sensibly and as fuel, not entertainment. If you are not doing that, you are going to run into problems. And when you have binged and the weight goes up, I would recommend not getting on the scales the next day. I often do that. It's like an avoidance technique. but it works. And if I have had too much food and I know the scales are going to be up, I won't get on them. How do I know when to try OMAD and when it's too soon for me? So when I first started Carnivore, I ate as much as I wanted for the first month and I didn't lose any weight. And then I tried a few 24-hour fasts and they worked fantastically well. But I really wasn't ready to start Carnivore because I was still really fat adapting, and in that time I was enjoying eating a lot, but I did naturally go to OMAD. So I was eating at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and that was satisfying me, and I was losing weight for a while that way. But eventually the weight stalled and nothing I could do would make it go again. And so what happened was that was the point where I decided I need to go all in with OMAD. I wasn't completely on board, but I told myself just do 3 days OMAD, see how you get on. 18 months later, I'm still on OMAD now. It's really about listening to your body. Your body should tell you when it's time. You'll probably go from 3 meals to 2 meals to 1 meal. And that's how you'll know. But sometimes you won't. Maybe you need to do it because the weight loss is stalled, but you are not doing it because you love your food and you're hungry all the time. And as we've spoken about, that is probably because you're eating too frequently. And it might be that you need to force OMAD. And the first day, when you force OMAD, the first day is difficult. It's really difficult because going 23 hours, some people do 22 hours, but 22 or 23 hours can be really difficult at first. But once you've done it for a couple of days, it gets a lot easier. What mindset shifts do I need to do if I want carnivore weight loss to actually last this time? So we're not just talking about losing weight here, we are talking about keeping it off. Now, I am at that precipice of doing this because I've lost 140 pounds and I'm getting very close to my goal weight now. I currently weigh 10 stone 9, maybe a few pounds more at the moment. But I would like to get to about 9.5. And so I haven't got that much further to go. And then once I do that, I am going to be in maintenance. And that is a whole other ball game altogether. Many years ago, about 15 years ago, I lost 100 pounds on the SAD diet and I kept it off for about 4 years and then it went on. I think now, because I've done it again, I'm really paranoid that the weight is going to go back on. So I'm very mindful every day of what I'm putting in my body. And I think I'm just going to have to be mindful for the rest of my life. Those people that come to Carnivore and think I'm coming to Carnivore to lose maybe 40, 50 pounds and then I'm going to go back to my old way of eating, that's not going to work. The weight will go back on. So when you come to Carnivore, the mindset shift you have to have is that this is a lifestyle change. This is what you're doing moving forward, and this is how things have to be from now on. I know that if I go back to eating carbohydrates, my weight is going to go back on. So in order to maintain the weight loss that I like and the weight loss I have to always be sure to be carnivore, to be mindful, to be OMAD, and to just look after myself, basically. That's what it comes down to. Put yourself first. Look after yourself. Look after your health. We've grown up, haven't we, being told food is a reward. And if you strip that away and understand that food is fuel, then you are going to be able to keep that weight off and keep keeping it off. Why do I feel hungrier when I cut my fat down even though I'm eating the same calories? Fat per gram has more calories than protein and carbohydrates. When you reduce your fat, you're not going to be as satisfied as you were. I know myself, when I cut my fat back, I really know it. Saturated fat is very, very filling, and it makes you satisfied for a very long period of time. So you can cut your fat back and eat the same calories as if you were eating a lot of fat, and you're just going to be constantly hungry. That's what happens on the SAD diet, where we're eating a low fat, high carbohydrate diet, and we're constantly having to refill and hack what we're eating in a way to keep the calories at a set amount, but keep the fat low. And it just requires that your insulin is high all the time. It's just a really difficult way of eating, versus when you eat a high fat diet, it takes a lot less energy to fill you up. So actually what you might find is when you're eating higher fat, you actually end up eating less calories. The questions that I've gone over in this video are the real problems that people are facing on the carnivore diet. So I hope that it's helped you significantly. Do drop me a comment down below and let me know. Give me your weight loss questions and I might do another one like this. If you're doing carnivore but you're having some pooping problems, watch this video next, because I go through everything pooping, the whole lot, the embarrassing, the whole lot, the haunted marshmallows, the lot. You are going to absolutely love it and find it really, really informative.